Hello and welcome everybody, it's Karen. I've got some fun farm scene cards to share with you today. I am using this Country Farm 6x6 paper pack and it's beautiful, you guys. This paper is really, it's thick and these are just beautiful farm scenes. And I think all those stamps and dies we have of farm animals, all of those could be used on these little scene papers. So I'm just showing you a few of them here right now. And then I've got these are two digital stamps. The birthday cow is the one on top and the gangs all here is the one on the bottom. So I've printed those off on my computer. I shrank this the gangs all here one down. I think that was about 60%, and I don't remember with the cow. But I've printed them off, colored them in, and I tried to match that gate to the farm sort of color, or the barn color. And my idea is I wanted to make this a flap card. So I didn't think of that before I cut them out. So I'm going backwards a little bit here. I'm actually going to glue this down to a scrap piece of cardstock because I need to make a flap that will fold around to the back of the card. So I'm just scoring over about a ½ inch just for the flap. And then I'll score also right along the side of that gate. So I've got somewhere to fold that over. And so now I can fold that right up against that fence line or the gate line and then trim off the excess here. And then this is the part I had to double up. Now I had already fussy cut it out, so now I'm going to fussy cut it out again. So if you decide to do this part before you fussy cut anything out. Now with the cow, the birthday cow, I created the flap first and then glued my cow down onto that just because it was a little bit easier that way, and then again fussy cut him out. Now I've got this Fun with Words die set and it has all these really fun sentiments on it. So I've cut out of white cardstock the Howdy Friend and have attached that to the front onto the gate actually. And so now I'm just kind of positioning that in place. I've got this grass from the Slimline Fence die set, and I just wanted to cover up the bottom area there on the front of the card. I didn't like that being exposed as much. So I just fussy cut those, or not fussy cut, but die cut the pieces of grass, and I'm gluing them just to the top of that gate. I'm not putting any glue on the bottom part of the grass because obviously I want that gate to open up. So that's all I'm doing there. And then I could glue that whole flap back in place. And I was kind of positioning it here with that birthday cow because his hat kept poking into the face of the other cow. So I was trying to position them the best I could. So there's the first flap in place, and now I can attach this second cow down on the left side. And then once I had these, glued and set, I glued the whole card down to a card front. Now this card is a slightly different size. I just cut it 5½ inches. I only trimmed down that background scenery just a ½ inch on the width and left the height. Now inside on the left, I'm putting that yippee, and I on the computer just made that it's your birthday to put down underneath that. And so it's sort of all tucked in and hidden in behind that little gatefold. Now this little dog I had already colored up. It was from the Doggy Did It stamp set. I have another video with this stamp set. But this dog, I mean, he just looked like he should go there to me. I mean, every farm has a dog, and this one is just so happy, and it just kind of went with that yippee, it's your birthday. So in he went in behind the other gate, and I just thought that was really quite fun. So here's a look at that first card. It's just super fun when you can open up those double flaps and have a little surprise behind both of them. And then of course it's a card, so there's lots of room inside to write your message, just as you normally would. Okay, so I did a second farm card with another cow. This is the Southern Cowbell stamp set. And I just fell in love with this one with all the sentiments and that crazy little cow on the front there. It's just a really super fun stamp set. So I have already stamped and colored up that cow. Now she is super easy to color because she's a black and white cow, and that's basically it. I mean, you color the skirt and her udder and the necklace, but that was it. Now I've been using this slimline bunting border die set a lot, and I love it. It's such a great one for birthdays. So I just cut 5 of those little flags off, and then for that end I just cut the far end and glued it to the back. And then on her, I don't know if that's a skirt, I wrote birthday. So I wrote happy on the banner and then birthday on her skirt. So she's the sentiment. And now I added to the back, before I fussy cut her out, I added one more layer of card because I'm going to put her up on a wobbler. And I needed her to be a little bit stronger and sturdier. Now these are the sentiments that I have stamped and clear heat embossed onto some vellum, and then I sort of fussy cut them out to look like speech or thought bubbles. And they're going to go up with the other 2 cows there. So it's a real cow scene, this one. So my idea is to have this cow down at the front, and I want to put her up on a wobbler. So I make my wobblers. You just need some wire. Probably like a 22 to 24 gauge wire would be good. The lower the gauge, like a 20 gauge wire is probably too thick. It's not going to wobble very much. And a 28 gauge would be too thin. So kind of 22 to 24 I think is good. And I'm just wrapping that wire around a pen, and then you slide it off. And you want to leave a little tail at both ends. So at the beginning of your coil and at the end of it. So it should look like a bit like that. And then I've cut 2 circles. Now you want your circles to be just under the size of whatever object you have. So you can see this one will fit on the center of my cow quite nicely without going, outside the cow's borders. And then I've got both of them there, and I'm just poking a hole through the middle of both those 2 circles. And I'm going to feed one of those tails of wire through that circle. And I like to hold that coil tightly so it's all kept together. And then you just turn this little tail around on itself to make a little circle so it's stuck down nicely. I add some double-sided tape, a couple of pieces of that. And then we're going to feed the other tail through the other circle and up to the outside. And I just find it easier, keep all that coil nicely compact and squished between the circles, and it's quite easy. And then we'll just fold that one around again. You can buy action wobblers. That's, if you've got them, you can use those for sure. If you don't have them and you want to make one, this is a super easy way to do it. So double-sided tape on the other side, and there you have it. There's a nice little spring. So I've taken the release paper off one side, and I'm going to try and stick it. You want to stick it as close to the center of your object as you can. And then just really make sure you get that firmly pressed down. It's probably going to have a lot of wear and tear on it. And then remove the release paper on the other side, and then you can stick it down where you want it to go. And for me, I wanted that cow to be up at the front there. So you can see how well it will wobble. I mean, it really does wobble well. Now to attach those vellum sentiments, I'm just putting glue behind the words behind the sentiment itself and gluing that on. And then I had die cut, or not die cut, but with a paper punch, just punched out some white circles to make these sort of like thought bubbles. If I'd been braver, I would have made them speech bubbles, but they're thought bubbles apparently. So I'm just sticking those on, and there you can see the 2 cows in the background have lots of thoughts about that southern bell cow. I just thought that was super fun. So thanks for stopping by, everybody. I hope you're having a great day. I'll talk to you next time.